welcome to Quackalope. Today we bring you another episode or shelf of self or shell.
Shell.
Basically, words.
Of shellfish and shells.
What we do here is we bring you 5 games that we are going to be getting rid of, 5 games that are going to be staying, and 1 game that we are undecided about, and that one's kind of hanging out in the middle.
And I'm going to be honest, we're getting closer and closer to the point on this set where we start doing shelf or sell as things coming, things going, and not so much as a strict culling, because we've went through a lot of our game collection.
Yeah, and we are getting to the point where we just have a huge 2 calyxes full of games that we just have to play.
That we need to play. Yeah, or we just start playing games way faster than we already are, which I've played 70 different times this month.
Yeah.
With like 40 or 50 unique games.
Yeah, so we got to up our gameplay.
So we could... That's what you're hearing in that statement? You're hearing we need to do better. All right, we need to do better is what I've translated. So the game in the middle here, because we always have one that we, need to play. We always have a few of those to bring to the table. I just got in Return from the Dark Tower. This is going to be a repeat game, a reprint game of an old classic brought new to life. And I got a chance to demo this back... early on in kind of Quackalope history. And what it is it's got this giant tower, this giant spire in the middle of the game board and a big circular map, and you're working as a variety of different heroes, cooperatively trying to restrain the chaos, take down enemies, and finally conquer the tower.
Is this a tower that spews skulls out?
This is the tower that spews skulls out.
I've seen videos on this online, and I've seen the skulls just like pouring out onto different areas on the board.
Yeah, so it has a AI system in it, so you're using an app to play it, and it modulates and rotates and shifts, and the skulls drop down and then pop out in different areas, and you're trying to balance that chaos. It's sort of like a dark advanced pandemic in a way.
Okay.
So we need to dig into it.
Is it like a legacy or campaign game?
No,
or
I think it's just one-offs.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure on that. What I can say though, what I am certain on, is that I'm not certain about whether or not the game stays.
You're certain that you're not certain.
I'm certain that I'm not certain.
Okay.
I remember thinking it was really cool, but then again, really cool in the context of what? Context of a pandemic game? Sometimes those are really great, and they're also just a 3 in the collection. So I want to play it, I want to experience it, I want to open it up, but I'm not entirely sure that it fits our game collection.
Okay, that's fair.
So let us know down in the below, what's your judgment call on it?
It's just slipping. Which side? Final girl. If you can tell by Jesse's gameplays, this one is going to be added to our collection. This is a solo puzzle that he has been diving into repeatedly, time and time again. Really enjoying it. He has yet to teach me, so we'll blame him on that. And do you want to talk and say anything about it?
I was just seeing what you'd come up with, because this one's my game at the moment. She needs to play it. It's escalating chaos. It's got a little bit of cascading failure in it. The harder it is, the worse you do, but it tells such an incredible narrative and story. I've already done like 7 or 8 gameplays of this. I need to dive back in on camera. We have more coming in down the road, and Season 2 is on the way. I loved Final Girl with the prototype, and still absolutely love it with the final finished version.
We'll have to get up and running.
Yeah, I'm going to have to teach it to her. That's one of the plans.
Small Islands by Lucky Duck Games.
Yeah, we've played this multiple times.
We have.
It's going to be a simple little tile-laying game where you're doing your very best to connect various different island regions that each have their own unique scoring conditions, but you can only score each region once. So as you build out the map, you're building your scoring potential and deciding where and how you're going to score and when you're going to score. It is a good little puzzle, a good tile layer. It is good across the board. Now, it's not a 5 out of 5 for me. It's not a great game, but every time I've shifted it to a shelf where we thought we were getting rid of it for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I'm confused why it's here, because I've just mentally tallied what's going and what's staying. And
so I shifted this to a shelf where I thought we were getting rid of it for a while. But every time I walk by it, I think, I wouldn't mind playing Small Islands.
Really?
Like, that would be fun to play.
So it's a quick enough game that you can get it up and running. That's the part that I really like about it.
It's a really nice mix into our tile-laying genre. You know, and I want a few small blocks in a genre of game that we enjoy, and we both enjoy tile-laying quite a bit. So Small Islands, I think it sticks around for now. Does it stick around forever? I'm not sure, but I have
to get
enjoyed.
it a few more plays. I've played this a couple of times, and I just felt it was getting a little bit samey and a little bit that you needed too much luck to win. That it was the luck of the draw. And there were some house rules that I actually wanted to do drafting the goals to see if that made some changes. But we'll give it another shot.
Yeah, for me, I think this one deserves to stick around for at least a few more games.
Fair.
Let's pull over Alchemists. So this is a game that a friend passed on to me when I first got into the hobby space. This is the main box with all of the expansions shoved in here. I mean, it doesn't even fit flat.
Wow.
It's so stuffed full of things. This is a older school game. It is supposed to be amazing.
Okay.
It's supposed to be amazing. It's supposed to have a ton of elements that all tie together. I mean, does it even talk about the mechanics down here? Let's see here. It has an app that helps set up the lab experiments. You're doing your very best, I think, to solve like a sequencing puzzle or a set collection puzzle that leads to the concoction that you have to create.
Okay.
Let's see.
A little mandrake root, a little raven's feather. Toss them into the cauldron and see what they make. Should you drink it? Maybe not.
It's a game of strategy, risk assessment, and deduction. All I know is that I've had this in my collection for going on 3 years and never once played it. And never once played it partially because the copy that I got given has everything in it. All the expansions.
You have to dive into everything at once.
So I think right now my judgment call with this is that I would love to try this with a friend.
Okay.
But it's not going to get off the shelf in my collection. And it's not going to get off the shelf in my collection largely and partially due to the fact that I have it with everything stuffed inside. There's no way for me to digest or break down or really understand what fits where. And it's a task beyond what right now I'm willing to do.
Put it on your side.
So, Alchemists is heading on.
A game that is never going anywhere. Ever.
Never?
Ever.
Period?
Period, ever.
That's weird.
What's happening in here?
Why do you have... It all slid down.
Pandemic in here.
I don't know what's in here.
I don't know what you have in here, but it's...
I'm pretty sure this is your copy.
This is Pandemic. We brought this along with us to Florida, and you repurposed the Pandemic box for something else. All right, this is Codenames, not Pandemic, but Pandemic's over there.
I repurposed the Pandemic box to put in a present for you.
Yeah.
Which was a book that I'd written a handwritten letter in, but I put it in the Pandemic box.
Yeah, and you had to take all the components of the Pandemic box out.
I've been wondering where our Pandemic components went to.
This is Codenames. This is a fantastic party game. We have Duet, we have Pictures, and we have the regular version. And I am always happy when we get it to the table. You have, I think, 25 words in front of you, and you are giving clues to your team member and trying to help them guess your words, while in competition with the other teams trying to help them guess their words. And there's one danger word that you don't want anyone to guess.
Yeah.
So...
This
is great.
It's absolutely lovely.
It's great. We never win because our minds think so differently, but his mind just doesn't think in logic.
Bringing up Pandemic, let's talk about Pandemic Legacy Season 0, and I think this is one that was handed off to us because it has, like, one element started or something.
Okay.
I'm not sure. This was your copy.
No, it wasn't.
Originally. My copy?
Yeah, this is not my copy.
I think there might be one thing started in this box, but we actually don't need this box anymore.
We have started Pandemic Legacy Season 0 with some friends of ours.
We're on, like, the 7th or 8th episode.
We're on May, I believe. And therefore, we don't need our own copy because one Pandemic Legacy season is enough for me.
The gameplay is classic Pandemic with some cool twists and turns that I'm actually enjoying a lot. It opens up the door to solving the puzzle and how you manipulate the board and new things coming out. It's a lot of fun for a Legacy game. That being said, I have no desire to replay it or play it again. And honestly, one Pandemic season might be enough for all the Pandemic seasons. I think it's a really interesting game system. I'm glad I'm experiencing it.
My first one was Season 2, and I'm so happy I dived into Season 2. And I heard Season 0 was actually bringing some interesting things, and I did want to give it a try. But after playing through an entire Pandemic Legacy season, I also don't feel a need to go back to the base game because I'm like, I have gotten my 20 plays in of this game, and then I've gotten another 20 plays into this game. That's enough for a lifetime.
It's good. I mean, and if you like Pandemic...
I would recommend it for anyone who's wanting to play a legacy game. These are top-notch legacies.
If you like this Pandemic season whatever is going to be the best of the bunch. For me, Pandemic's a 3. And so this is like a high 3. It's good. But 20 plays good? My favorite games don't get 20 plays.
Oh, yes. Fired Up.
Okay. Fired Up is a game that I tried a few times, and the concept of what it's doing I think is really cool, but in application it didn't quite work for me. You're going to be betting or bidding on a variety of robots who are all doing their best to win this tournament, right? You're fighting back and forth. And you're bidding on what robot's going to win. You're also bidding on the different powers and abilities and how they act. So you're controlling not only the combat arena, you're also controlling, you're also investing in who is going to be able to take the throne or take the throne. And you get points for successfully bidding on the right one and coordinating the hunt to happen the way you want it to. It is interesting. It is fun in theory. But for me, I didn't like the bidding application. I felt like it was a little bit too random for the type of game experience I look for. So, Fired Up is heading out.
Trajan. This is a Stefan Feld game that we had to dive into for the top 100. And we have been enjoying it thoroughly. It has an interesting Mancala system around a rondel that each person is going on their own personal player boards, and then you're interacting with everyone else on the main player board. And you're trying to get the most points and take different pathways to scoring a victory.
Yep.
We've really enjoyed it, and I am happy to add it to our personal collection.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I am conflicted, but willing to go along with you. If you're adding it to our personal collection, I am 100% down. I like the Mancala system. I like the actions. I am concerned that we won't get this off the shelf as often as we have. We played it a lot for the top 100. Yep. But now, when I think through, like, Lorenzo Magnifico or Trajan, I want to play Lorenzo more.
Really? I want to play Trajan more than Lorenzo.
I understand. You're still not a big fan of Lorenzo.
Still not a big fan.
The last gameplay didn't go well. We're doing another one before the top 100 video. Don't worry.
Yeah, so I don't think this... So, I hear your conflictions.
Yeah.
I'm not positive.
I'm worried if we will play it. Do I want to play it?
Right.
Absolutely.
I don't know if this is going to stay indefinitely. But definitely for right now, it is staying.
Sure.
Like, I don't know in 10 years if this is still going to make it on our permanent shelf.
No, nothing in our current collection will be here in 10 years.
Kingdom Death won't be here in 10 years?
Kingdom Death will be here in 10 years. Yes, that's true.
Okay.
Just picking on you.
So, I don't know if it'll be here in 10 years, but definitely for the time being, I would like to get a few more gameplays of it and see what other stuff I can bring up.
Cool. 504 by Friedman Freese. Actually, we might as well pull... We have two Friedman Freese games here. We have Fast Sloths and 504. The cool thing about Friedman Freese games is he always names them with an F.
Huh.
Did you know that?
No.
They're always a green box. They're always named with an F. They're super identifiable.
Okay.
Or at least I think they are. I'm trying to think of other things. So some of them might not translate with an F because they're named... I have to check.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's a fact.
F fact?
I'm pretty sure it is. Comment down below. Am I correct on that? It's something I heard, but now I'm trying to think through. Like, Power Grid, I think, is him. And it's in a green box, but it doesn't have an F on it.
No.
I raise you a concerned look. Either way, Fast Sloths. Fast Sloths is going to be a game that deals with this puzzle right here. This puzzle is a giant map full of various types of terrain, and you're going to be playing cards from your hand in order to move different creatures, specifically to pick up and transport your sloths, who are kind of immobile in their own way, from tree to tree to tree. You're trying to basically, it's a race around the board where you try to be as efficient with actions as possible in order to land on different zones. And again, the concept of the game is really cool. The application of the game, I didn't love.
Okay.
I was super stoked about it when I first picked it up, but I'm going to be honest, it was interesting, but didn't execute in a way that made me want to continue playing it. And we played it, 4 or 5 times with a few different groups of friends, and I think I've had my fill of it. So this one is going to head out.
And then 504.
504, a game of worlds. Let me read the back to you and see just what your initial impression is.
Okay.
In this box, there are 504 different games. There are 9 different game modules that make 504 different games reality. To play any of the 504 games, choose 3 of the game modules. The first module determines the first winning condition, the second defines how players earn money, and the third provides an overall direction for the game. The result is a total of 9 times 8 times 7, 504 completely different games. You could have pick up and deliver, military, majorities, race, exploring, production, privileges, roads, and shares.
That sounds too much to be true. It sounds intriguing, but I don't think all of the ones would actually be good games.
So, here's the thing about this game. In this box, there are 504 games.
Okay.
And not a single great one.
Gotcha.
It's really cool.
It's a really nifty idea.
Look at the front cover. Like, it just has different systems and modules that birth new puzzles for you to solve.
It sounded really intriguing, but almost like too big of a bite to take off.
By the nature of it, by the nature of its application, it just doesn't function. Like, it's too much. Everything has to be too open, right?
So weird.
So I had this in my collection as a cool showpiece, but it is never.
Yeah.
It's never being played. So in theory, it's amazing, but it's got to go. We can't fill up the shelf with stuff that we're never gonna play, even if it's really cool, even if it's substantially cool.
Dominant Species. We have played this a couple times in the past few weeks. Our game group taught it to us, and I have really started to like it. There are a significant criticism of you have to constantly recalculate the power on the board, which is a little annoying mid-game, but if you play it with the right group of people, this is a really fun gameplay. It is really tight, it is really mean, and I like the programming system. We played another game recently, Bus, that has a similar programming system, except you don't have to do the recalculating on the board.
Yeah.
I like the programming system. I like having to think through and sequence it as training sequencing, and I also like the theme, Dominant Species.
Yeah, it's a little fiddly, and I think you like it more than I do, but I really like Dominant Species. I really want to continue playing it, especially now that I know the game. I feel like I could sink my teeth into it so much better going forward. So funny.
They say the complexity level is medium. I wonder what they consider a high complexity level.
This is a GMT game, so yes, there's definitely some out there.
Okay.
I'd love to see if Space Empires is one of those. Either way, Dominant Species is absolutely sticking around in our collection for now. I'm interested in trying out the Oceans one.
Yeah.
But it took away some of the elements that are like the most out of Dominant Species, specifically like programming your actions and kind of the course of events.
I like ocean themes, so I definitely want to give it a shot, but I think between the two of them, Dominant Species will stick around more than the ocean.
We'll see. We got to play them both and see if it simplifies, kind of opens up things in a way that makes it more accessible than this one.
True.
So, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. That's going to be a Shelf or Sell episode.
Whatever the case, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Shelf or sell. We'll see you next time.